Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Joey Basayo, and to my left, a la izquierda, is a Cal Ness, and we have a special guest here in the Ducks Unlimited booth here at Game Fair, the Ducks Unlimited podcast studio. His name is Joel Bo Jones. Thank you so much for coming in.
What up, Joel?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Joel's not on any podcast, so this is a very exclusive situation, guys.
Yeah.
This is the first non-paid podcast.
Patreon paycheck.
Patreon type.
Paywall
Yes,
podcast.
paywall
Yes.
podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
What's up, dude?
Oh, you know.
Just hanging?
Hanging, living, loving.
Yeah,
Snapping
man.
necks and cashing checks?
Yeah, smashing buttons and hoping it turns out.
So this morning you tried to smash some buttons.
I actually did.
Tell us how that worked out. And what that was for.
So, Nick J, has he been on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
many
well,
times.
yeah.
So, yeah, you guys know Nick J. We were talking. Obviously, I love to photograph birds, film birds. And he said, hey, I know where a couple whooping cranes are. And
The elusive whooping crane.
The very elusive whooping crane.
Yeah.
I live in Nebraska, so I've seen them a few times when the sandhill cranes, migrate through Kearney.
Yeah.
But they're always at least 800 yards. Middle of the day, heat's rising off the field. You can't ever get anything good. Anyhow, he dropped a pin. He said they're an hour away. So this morning, I pull out to drive here, and I'm like, fuck it. Sorry if I...
No, you're
No,
good.
yeah, fuck
okay,
shit.
sweet,
Good.
hell yeah. So I ripped east, right on the Wisconsin side, half mile, maybe even a quarter mile from the pin he sent me, spotted him immediately, and just like, I think it was some clover, it was a cover crop.
Yeah.
You could see him sticking out like sore dicks across it, because
Oh, they're
I don't know if
bright
you've ever
white.
seen a whooping crane, but they're, an adult whooping crane is huge.
They're a big animal.
Like, they're almost a full-grown whooping crane can be like almost a foot taller than a sandhill.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no mistaking it. Anyhow, pulled up, saw him, probably a good 800-plus yards across a section, but they were pretty close to a highway. Dropped a pin immediately, didn't even try to attempt to take a picture. I go up to the highway, I turn, and a couple cars drive by, and they fly away. And so I
man.
drove around for 3 hours this morning.
Oh, my God.
Trying to find him. I was looking at all the maps. I went by a bunch of different, like, waterfowl production areas.
Trying your ass off.
Yep, because whooping cranes are, they're one of the most endangered species in the world.
Yeah. Not a lot of photos.
Is it the world?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're very endangered. So,
Like
that's
up there
why,
with like the Bengal tiger and... Holy
yeah, when
shit.
it comes to bird numbers, yes. I think the graders, there's only like hundreds of them left.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to quote
Yeah,
any
yeah.
specific numbers
Right.
here, but
That's crazy.
They're very elusive, and especially in Nebraska, I could at least sell some of those high quality prints to publications, at least like the Crane Trust and
Cool.
different organizations like that. And
Well,
not just
speaking
that,
of-
but they want to know where they're at so they can, because they're all banded, pretty
Yeah.
much all of them.
Yep.
They want to keep track of where they're at and where they're going, but.
Well, and for people who don't know who you are an unbelievable videographer, photographer, but you're very well known for your photos.
I'm a photographer at heart.
Yeah.
I
No,
make-
you're so good, dude.
90% of anything I do now is filming, and I've grown to love it, but if I could shoot stills for the rest of my life, I would.
Yeah.
How did you get
Carter's
into
the same way.
How did you get into photography, man?
I would. So a good buddy, Michael, who lives in Nebraska, he ended up moving to Hawaii to watch a buddy's house who got deployed in the Navy. He called my buddy. He said, hey, I'm going to be deployed. I don't have anybody to watch my house. You want to move to Hawaii? I'll pay all the bills. You just make sure everything
Live
is on the
there.
up and up. Yep. So we bought a Canon T2i. This is like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
He bought a T2i, was solo on the island, big island. We just went around taking pictures of anything and everything. He ended up moving back. We would hang out every single day. And I said, I'm going to pick up a camera too. So 2010, I picked up my first Canon 60D. And
Nice.
It's just been me and him kind of started a little photography thing called White Street Photos, which is like my first Instagram. It's actually in the link. It's the White Street Photos is in my bio on my Joel Bo Jones page. That's
really?
That's all non-hunting, landscape, travel.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you do
All
like
of
some
them.
work with that stuff too?
Not as much. That's
Yeah.
like what I really wanted to do, but selling landscape prints is like there's so many.
Yeah.
There's just an overabundance of it, and you have to travel to
Great lengths.
Yes, if you want to go to like Iceland's on my list. I've been to Switzerland, friggin' amazing. Like,
Right.
if I could do landscape photography for
Just
the rest
full
of
time?
like I would love it.
And what would you sell that to, like Google Maps
See,
or like
that's-
Windows
that's
PC
the
to like put on
problem.
people's backgrounds on their
That's-
computers?
That's the problem. A lot of those companies take advantage of photographers. I can't imagine that even some of those big screensavers ever paid out that much.
Damn.
And trying to sell that to people for art in their homes is hard because a lot of people anymore just want some abstract
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Something from Marshall's.
Yes, and people have to connect with it. If they haven't been to that place, it's hard to sell a landscape of a mountain range if they don't have any connection with it. And it's
Right.
just, but
Yeah.
no, photos are my bread and butter. I would shoot photos every day for the rest of my life if I could.
So it literally just started. You started White Street Photos, and you're taking pictures. Like, what was the transition into the outdoor space then? How did that happen?
So my first season duck hunting, waterfowl hunting at all, was in 2013. 13-14 season. I grew up in Idaho, lived there for 14 years. I backpacked and hiked and kayaked and fished and camped and all over, but we never did any hunting. That's just my dad would work too much and it's just
Wasn't
how
a
it is.
hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of my other good buddies, so my guy Michael, who got me into photography, they were both in my wedding. So my other buddy Tyler Johnson, he got me into waterfowl hunting. We were just hanging around one summer, and he grew up hunting with his uncles, and he's like, man, like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're just brainstorming, He's like, I still have these old shitty decoys. Like, we should go teal hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pretty much went gung ho, and we killed the shit out of some teal that year. Like,
All teal.
Yes, and like one of the places we were hunting, it's kind of a pattern across the board. I think a lot of places have dried up over the past 6-7 years. I don't know what it is, but we used to hike in because the road was closed. So many people would get stuck. It's just super marshy. So we would hike all the way in, shoot our 2-man, and get out. And we did that freaking every Friday, Saturday, Sunday for, through teal season, every weekend, and then kind of just turned into a huge passion for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outdoor waterfowl is pretty much taken over everything I do now. That's not a bad thing at all. I fucking love it.
Yeah, man. You're working for a ton of different companies now. You want to talk about some of the different brands, companies you work? I know you're doing stuff at Dry Creek for sure.
Yep. So I freelance. I'm not W-2 with anybody. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so I want to work on my schedule.
Yeah.
And I want to be as busy as I want to be. And that's the whole point of doing, chasing your dream and leaving. I left my job at 10 years. Anyhow, I work with Migra.
Yeah.
I freelance. I do some stuff with them. Wade Shoemaker. Homie,
Unbelievable dude.
Homie.
Yep.
Gem.
Real good man.
Yep.
He has provided me probably more opportunity in the waterfowl space than anybody else. And
Oh, yeah.
thank you, Wade. So Migra.
Tangle Free?
Tangle Free. I shot for Tangle Free from I think it's 2017-18 season on.
Yep.
As of last year, I kind of backed away from that. Yeah. No, Corey, Tangle Free, really good dude.
Yeah.
They've always done me right. I just wanted to have more of a part in it, and
Yeah, I just want to do a little more with it.
Yeah, I wanted to be
move in
more
some
part
different
of it.
directions then.
I didn't want to just be the guy that delivers you photos at the end of season.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be part of special projects. I want to travel. If I'm behind a brand, I'm fully invested in it. Like,
Right.
Yep.
that's why, if I'm supporting a brand, I believe in it. And,
Same.
everybody has their ups and downs with the people in the different companies, and you just gotta,
Gotta roll with it.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm not out here gonna promoting I'm not a brand whore by any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So Tangle Free's done me right.
What would you say is like your favorite project that you've worked on in the last couple of years? Like, what was something that you just worked on that you were like, oh, that was really fun?
You were so stoked about delivering it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I know there's probably a bunch.
I get excited, but I guess recently my favorite trip was South Africa.
Oh, wow.
I went there in May.
Dude,
and that was
the photos and video is just disgusting.
And
Yeah, bro, tell us
so
about that.
cool.
I have so many videos. Right, I'm still building it, and it wasn't for a company. It wasn't for any promotion. There's no sponsors. There's just a group of 3 guys. My buddy Cameron, real good dude. I filmed him and his boy. He was 3 years old on a gator hunt in Louisiana. His 3-year-old son came up and pulled the trigger on a gator.
Holy cow.
I filmed him a couple years in a row. I met all them guys on a crane hunt in Oklahoma. Anyhow, he reached out. He said, I'm going to Africa. We want you to come just document it. So it's just that to me, and it was a kind of a vacation for me too.
Totally.
I gave him a super deal on it. We went there for 14 days, and it was a blast.
Yeah, man.
If you were to like tell me to like Joey, you need to go to Africa. What's the minimum amount of days? Because I feel like you would have
10.
to go for 14 days.
I do 10, yeah.
You know, especially with the travel and everything.
You just have to. I didn't even scratch the surface in what I wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I could have spent 14 days just sitting, just shooting wildlife, just filming it. I get just as much satisfaction out of filming and taking photos as I do pulling the trigger anymore, and that's just
Well, where were you in South Africa? Because you were in South Africa, right?
Yeah. So we flew into Johannesburg, and we were in the Limpopo province, which is like where most people hunt, but that province goes all the way up to Zimbabwe.
Yeah. I think Zimbabwe is pretty far south too. Yeah.
Yeah, but that borders, I think, the north side. I don't want to mess any
No, you're good.
countries up
It's
there,
all right.
but the Limpopo province. So we were a couple hours from Johannesburg, but there's a lot of misconception around the big game hunting and how much value it provides. And
How so? Oh, like for the local population. You're saying.
yeah, I mean the average local there makes $10 a day.
Shit.
And-
American.
Yeah,
Or U.S.
Yeah.
yeah. So, and they don't have power. It's a
It's a wild deal.
Still the wild east, west, south.
Yeah.
It's amazing, dude. I would recommend anybody goes. And the wing shooting is phenomenal. That was kind of something that the group planned on because they're big bird shooters.
Yeah.
But we shot, my buddy, while we were out hunting, I was filming one of the other guys, my buddy Cameron, he shot like 90 dove by himself just in like an evening past shooting them right outside the lodge we stayed at.
Oh my God.
It wasn't even a setup thing. It wasn't. Yeah, and then
He was
we
just
went,
chilling.
There was another piece. It's 80,000 hectares of sunflowers. 80,000 hectares. I was like, it's like Argentina. We're driving through this, and I'm like, where are we? I was like, screw these big game animals.
Well,
I'm
and-
going to chase these birds.
Guys, this podcast is also sponsored by First Light. Let me tell you, I cannot say enough good things about First Light, especially about the rugged wool and all the new waterfall products that they're coming out with. They've just came out with a bunch of new pairs of pants. The 308 pants are amazing.
Primer jacket just came out.
Primer jacket just came out. I cannot say enough good things about First Light waterfowl. Be sure to go to their website, firstlight.com, and check out what they have in stock. And if anyone knows what a good dove hunt is, you recorded that crazy 10,000 bird day or weekend at Dry Creek, and you have that iconic video of like the truck pulling through the field, and it just looks like mosquitoes.
Was it
It's crazy.
10,000?
Well, I mean,
It
I
wasn't
think in the first 4 days we shot 15,000 doves that year.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they run. Dry Creek runs a much larger operation than he really puts out.
For
but
sure.
It's just kind of a word of mouth thing, and I was even
Floored.
surprised about it. But Rustin, shout out to Rustin
He's a
Morgan,
great dude.
owner of Dry Creek. He's real good people. Treats his landowner better than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah.
I mean, who sends their landowners Filson gift cards? Like,
That's pretty
you know,
slick.
Rustin's a good
Yeah,
dude.
he's a
Anyhow,
great
shout
dude.
out to Rustin.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, shout out.
He helps me put food on my, in my kid's mouth. And
Yeah, man.
Right.
shout out to him.
Yeah, Russ
But,
is a great dude, and Wade was doing a lot of work for Russ at one time too.
Yes. So
And,
he's moved up to a real big position at Migra.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've taken over the social and stuff. But
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
it's been good. It's all mutually beneficial. You know,
Yeah, man.
Wade's been running their social for like 8 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I've got a good relationship with Russ, and I mean what he does there. A lot of people, if they were doing what Russ does on that scale, they would be blasting, about themselves on social.
Yes.
And Russ is just not that guy.
Just a
he
humble
just doesn't,
guy.
Totally so humble, man. He doesn't care, and he makes sure that everyone is taken care of before himself.
Yep. He said
a
if I
great
ever
dude.
get so cocky that, he's like, take me out back and shoot me like a dog. He's like, I am not. He's just he's Texas. Like,
Yeah, to his core, man.
He's a real good dude.
Yeah, for sure,
He
dude.
takes care of his people. The lodge that's being built right now.
Insane.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
it's
I
wild,
saw
bro.
that.
nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
That's so cool.
You'll be able to hit golf balls off the back deck.
Oh shit.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
But no, yeah, Brand, Migra, Tangle Free, Pacific Calls. Shout out to Trevor.
Yeah,
I rep Pacific.
yeah, man.
Lucky Duck, Luke.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
that's
all about relationships.
I support all of them fully and use all their brands. And
Yeah.
So I promote more in person.
Oh yeah.
I'm so bad about, like, people send me stuff and I'm like, going on my story and posting and stuff. I want to post art. I'm not a content creator. I'm an artist. Remember that.
Yeah.
When you're a content creator, you're creating just for Instagram, and that, like, I create content, you could say, because some of it's gimmicky, short stuff, but I like it.
Yeah, if there
Right.
wasn't
So-
social media, you'd still be doing it.
Oh, 100%.
For sure. That's the
Yeah.
difference. I think that's what you were trying to get
1000%.
at there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, Joel actually hunts as well.
Yeah.
And so that's actually how I know Joel is, like, outside of the photography thing. He just always had a camera, and he has this lens. It was about as tall as me when I was in 10th grade. So it's about 5'2".
Yeah.
5'2" and that thing is ginormous. And every time I've been hunting with you, it's so funny. You just whip this giant dick of a freaking camera lens, and I'm just like, oh my god.
They call it the Stanley Cup. If you flip it upside down, it looks like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, man.
Do you remember that one
No.
time we were scouting in shit? It wasn't Nebraska. I think it was
South
was
Dakota.
It was South Dakota.
Yeah.
And there was a
For
bunch of
Snuggies.
specks and snuggies on the side of the road. And you're like, dude, pull over now.
Right meow.
And,
on
uh,
the highway, busy ass highway.
And I was pissed. I'm just like, oh my god. And you get out and you're just like,
Dude, I just posted a video. I mean, it's probably been some months worth. All them specs lifting up in
Dude.
slow mo. That was right there.
it was like a frame per 10,000
It was
or
retarded.
10,000 frames per second. It was just like, woof, woof, woof. You could feel the shockwave in the video.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
so
it's,
cool.
That's sick. That's what
that was
Joel's trying to do, get you to feel the shockwave.
It's right. I want you to feel it.
Dude,
Yeah.
honestly, like, it's like you, Wade, Ben Potter had some really cool shit back in the day. There's like very few
Ben
photographers that
Potter
actually.
still does, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just not
I
on
know,
Instagram anymore.
I know.
But that actually like make me feel the emotion of the shit. Like you do a
Yes.
very, very good job of that. And any chance I can get to hire you, I'm gonna hire you.
Oh, thank you.
You know.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
appreciate
sure.
And
that.
so I just wanted to say that you were absolutely incredible. And
One of my
anytime,
favorites.
and anytime we've ever asked anybody like who's your favorite photographer, videographer in the industry, you were top 3.
We hear it. We hear your name all the
Every
time.
single time.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make you blush.
I'm weird
Yeah.
about
But it's all real.
I don't like to talk. That's why I've ducked pretty much every podcast. I don't want to talk about myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
But you can tell you're so passionate about it, dude.
Yeah.
And I just love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, don't get it wrong. I love to hunt. My whole freaking garage is. I got a full spread of those new Tangle Frees. I still rock those. I like those.
Yeah.
But
What got you in Nebraska, man? You live in Nebraska right now.
yeah, yep.
So how'd you end up in Nebraska?
Oh man,
Yeah.
because when I left England, I was born in England, in Halifax, like couple hours north of Manchester. We flew back when I was 2. My mom and dad flew to Idaho. They split like very shortly after that,
Yeah.
and then
Hawaii at some point in there. Because now I'm like tracking. I'm like, Idaho, England, Hawaii.
Well, that was your buddy that
Nebraska.
moved to Hawaii, right?
Yeah, that's my buddy moved
Yeah.
right. I moved from England to Idaho. My parents split. There was kind of a thing where, bless my mom, she is amazing. She's, she's right now helping my wife with our kids back home. But
Nice.
she kind of skipped state with me.
Yeah.
And there was a national Amber Alert out for me for like
Oh,
over 6
shit.
months. And my dad had to hire a private investigator to track me down, and her with her shitty ex-husband, he's a piece of shit. They skipped to Nebraska, and that's where they ended up finding me. And then moved back to Idaho after they found me, and then eventually I
Went back to Nebraska.
she still lived in Nebraska, and then when I was 14, there was a huge custody battle, and she fought to get me, and I moved with my mom, and
there you are. Now you're in
been around.
Nebraska.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh, I was like 6, 7.
Yeah, I was
young.
gonna say, like, you don't see
When the
Amber Alerts too often anymore. At least where we're at. And
Yeah,
so
and it
Amber Alert's fucking serious, dude.
Yeah.
Like, everybody stops what they're doing and they're like, "Is that a white Suburban?"
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
What's the license plate on that?
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, I mean, I would move back to Idaho. Idaho is beautiful.
Dude.
I was
Oh,
in Boy
yeah.
Scouts growing up. I backpacked and hiked Rockies, Tetons, Sawtooths, kayaked down the Payette, the Salmon. Like, I could go back. That is a definite option still on the table for me to move back to Idaho. But my dad still lives there. My mom lives in Nebraska, and all my family on my mom's side still live in England. My sister and everybody still lives over there.
Wow.
Did I tell you that I took Roya and Aziza when she was 6 months old on a duck trip?
To Angel Wing, right?
Yep. So we started at my dad's place, drove 9 hours south to Angel Wing. Ethan was so nice to let me hunt one of his pits on the river, and she was just passed out in her car seat. And then from there, I went to Colorado, saw some friends, and then I bopped through Wyoming and almost made it to Idaho, because the whole purpose of the trip was, would we ever want to move out west? Because it's gorgeous. The hunting, the fishing is incredible.
Yes.
All that stuff. And we finally got to Idaho last January. And I'm like, it's decided.
Yeah.
At some
Idaho
point in my
is
life,
amazing.
I am moving to Idaho.
Well, let's do it.
There is live
do a little
together.
commune.
Let's live
Yeah,
together, dude.
yeah.
Let's
Get
start
a commune going.
Let's go.
I'm gonna start a commune somewhere.
And Idaho has so many different biomes that, like, Southwest
know.
Idaho is desertous.
know.
Like, I think it's high desert, and
Yeah.
then it's
Snow
great.
in the mountains.
Oh yeah,
and
I've been up to Coeur d'Alene, been
Yep.
all over. Idaho is just amazing.
beautiful.
So on Amazon Prime, there is a documentary. If you type in "Beautiful Idaho,"
Yep.
they changed the name for some reason. It's something else now. It talks about all the different topography in Idaho.
Oh, it's
And
one of
it's you have waterfalls, you have arid desert, you have mountains, you have luscious rolling hills of agriculture, fields of lavender.
the tallest sand dunes in the country in Idaho.
Dude,
the
like-
Bruno sand dunes.
Idaho is unbelievable in the amount of
wild.
trout streams and rivers and Coeur d'Alene. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the Lake Minnetonka of the West.
Yep.
It's crazy, dude. The place is drop dead gorgeous.
It's a wonder. I mean, I always wish I either hunted or had the camera growing up, because I remember crossing a river on a 16-mile backpack trip. We were using topography maps and just compasses, and like the biggest world-class moose with babies in a meadow. Like, I'm just transported back seeing that. I'm like, if I could have just captured that, but it's, that's the kind of the way I guess it should have happened.
Yeah.
But I just think now, like, some of the stuff I saw back in the day, elk and bears and all the different wildlife
Right.
in Idaho, seeing that, like, we did snowshoe trips and cross-country ski trips, and like, it was a good
So
time
cool,
growing
dude.
up. Being in Boy Scouts in Idaho growing up pretty much beats.
I feel like that's top 5.
Yeah,
Endless
and,
opportunity.
and a couple of the leaders were like ex-military special forces, so they like. I remember one guy, we're snowshoeing in Idaho in the middle of winter, and he's got icicles hanging off his leg hairs because he's wearing shorts. Like,
What?
yeah, we're about like.
That's some Westie
He's
shit
a
if
crazy
I've
man.
ever heard of
Yeah.
it.
He's a crazy man.
Yeah. My little brother almost got hypothermia on that trip. Anyhow, that's a whole different story. But
Right.
This podcast is also brought to you by OnX Hunt, and I wanted to just talk about one of my favorite new features that OnX is continuing to work on improving, and that is recent imagery. It is such a helpful tool if you're going to be going to some place to hunt that you can't get to all the time. And the way it works is you can literally go on there, pick an area, and request satellite images. And the images are taken within a 2-week period from the time that you're requesting these images, which is incredible, because when you're trying to find water, especially, or if you want to see if the area is glowing yellow with corn, this is the best way to do it without having to actually drive however far you're going to be going to do this hunt. So check out onxhunt.com. Use our code MWF20 for 20% off your membership. And if you have a membership now, then don't forget to cancel it and sign back up with our discount code.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Our children are hungry. We need to feed them. Thank you.
you guys got any big trips planned for this year? What's your favorite hunting trip coming up this season?
coming up?
Yeah.
So I went to Carter's Big Island down in Kansas last year, dude, and my dad used to hunt there 30 years ago, well before the guide service. And so there's all these pictures growing up of mallards rung up against a tree, like all the way around it, and then they always had a black duck or a band. You know, they always had the foot hanging out, and they're all shooting over-unders, and they just look like Billy badasses, bro.
And they're all shooting way over.
I don't know.
No, I know.
And so then Cal and I were going to Arkansas to hunt with Logan from Camo Retro. And I called them. They're like, we're booked up. Drake might be able to take you on some public land or show you where to go on public land. And we got to hang out with them and did a podcast with them. And then he's like, you got to come down. And so I was able to go down last 3 days of season last year. And it was just a smorgasbord. I felt like the rat from Charlotte's Web. The fair is a veritable smorgasbord. I felt like that because we were waiting on the right mallards. Like there's just ducks lighting up. It's like, nah, we're gonna kill a hen. You know, we're gonna kill that. No, let's let him get closer. Like it was that kind of a trip. Nice. It was just like we shot our limit every day. Almost got all green. I messed up one time. You know, whatever. I shot a hen. Could have swore it was a greenhead. And so I'm always excited to go back. Like I'm frothing at the mouth to go back there. And then going to New York for the
early honkers?
For the early honker season.
15 of them?
Yeah.
Right.
No plugs. I'll probably just take the Weatherbees have a stick you can just pull out of it. It's super easy to take your plug out so you can have 5. And I'll probably just do that just because I'm not going to unload a tube.
Dude, you're not shooting birds on the 4th trail, let alone the 12th.
I know. That's my thing. Yeah. That's my thing.
When you got a fat wad of snows and you got 2 guns on either side of you and you're just...
Rambo. You know. But those are the 2 that I'm really pumped for.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pumped to just go back to Canada.
Yeah. I mean, Canada.
Super excited. Canada's
that's
insane.
where I'll start my season.
Okay.
Alberta, end of September. Saskatchewan in October.
Yeah.
And then Dry Creek, November through January.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. You're there for 2 months.
Well, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, so it's non-negotiable for me. I be home for a week between every trip.
Yeah.
And, like, my max trip I'll do is 14 days.
Okay.
It's just, unless you're paying me an astronomical amount, we might be able
it's
to work
not
that
worth
out.
it.
But at 2 and 4 years old, your kids will learn stuff and they'll look different after a month. If you're going for a month, your children will look different at that.
You try a week.
Yes.
It's nuts.
That's wild.
If like game fair, right? I'm like at home, but they're already in bed and whatever, and like I'll go and like check on them as they're sleeping and whatever. 3 days, my daughter is saying new words. She is looking different, and she is just like cognitively more there than before, and it just makes me sad.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
But
it sucks.
I think the positive thing is just us talking about this now. This generation of fathers is spending more time with their kids than any other generation before us, and it's because we realize how necessary it is, and we actually give a shit. And I mean, granted, we have chosen paths to try to make ourselves successful.
We're all entrepreneurs.
Yes. And I want to be free to do what I want to do, make enough money to make my kids never have to want for anything, but I want to spend time with them.
Yeah.
So, I'll be at Dry Creek every other week. So I'll be there for like 7 days, home for 7, there for 10, home for 7. I just got to be home for 6-7 days between every trip.
Yeah, that's perfect. And there's no better guy in the world to understand that than Russ.
Exactly.
So it's perfect.
Yep. And he trusts me. We got
He's
a good,
the best.
Yeah. Me and Russ are real good. And he's having a baby.
I know he is.
Rustin is having a baby boy.
It's crazy.
I'm excited for him.
It's going to be insane.
Yes.
I have yet to meet
his
Russ.
whole life.
Man.
Yeah, we'll have to go and see him, dude.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out. Or I've told him, too, that he should come up here if he wants to. It's hard for him because of his season, but...
We talked about, depending on when Early Goose lines up next year, he might come to Game Fair, and if we can figure out an Early Goose situation.
Oh, yeah,
he's
dude.
wanted to do that.
Let's do that. That would be incredible.
We need to figure out. And then also, do you know Chris Kirby?
The name sounds familiar.
So
is he a captain?
Yes, Chris Kirby, Shelby Kirby, real good friends with the Dive Bomb crew, Asher.
Nice.
I filmed for them this year.
Yeah.
He was talking about the same thing, coming up to Game Fair and maybe having a booth, because he's going to do a booth for his offshore charter in Destin and then his waterfowl outfitter in Saskatchewan. So I was like, that'd be a perfect booth.
Yeah,
like
dude.
you could have one TV playing because I've made a bunch of like web banner videos for him and stuff. I was like, we have the stuff to play. But anyhow, we might have a good crew to do some early goose next year.
Yeah, man, that'd be a lot of fun.
Out.
That's the thing, because you never know, and you've been on it, you never know what early goose is going to bring.
Oh, sometimes maybe good, most times maybe shit.
Maybe shit is a bad time, sometimes it's a good time.
Maybe I hit a deer and I cut it out with a pocket knife and drive home with a...
Dude, he smoked a deer and just all the airbags coming out of his car.
I was going to get to this.
Pissed.
I was going to get to this.
So
that was
bad.
The end
Joel,
of we're not getting on the whole trip, but yeah.
Joel, you, of all the people I know, man, you have had some of the craziest like truck breakdown stories I've ever heard. Remember when we were in Nebraska too, and then your truck was in the shop for like 14 days?
And I paid $12,000 to have it fixed.
What the hell?
And then I blew my motor in that same truck in Oklahoma City last year going to Utah with Eric Mitchell.
I mean,
come on.
Bro.
They're like, this will be 15. I was like, I already paid $12,000. And then a rental was like $2,500 for 2 weeks. Oh, that was a shit show.
Oh my God.
That was a nightmare.
Like, your truck's ticking. I'm like, no, my truck is not ticking. Oh yeah, it was.
That's so wild, man. Yeah, and just like every time I see you, I feel like you're like, oh, yeah, no, then I hit.
But now I have a brand new 2023 3-liter mini Duramax. And
do you love the Mini Max?
I love it.
What is it? GMC?
It's a Chevy.
Nice.
Silverado.
Dude, what are you getting for fuel mileage?
My best is like 39. When I'm pushing it, 55. Like I'm really trying. I think my just driving normally is like 27.
Yeah,
20.
I'm getting 36 to 26.
Oh, yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, yep.
And it's nuts. We were driving back from Arkansas because it rates it for 50 miles at a time. So it's not like you're just going down a hill, not touching the gas pedal. And we were driving back from Arkansas, 50 miles. It was 38 miles per gallon.
That's wicked.
For 50 miles. We filled up twice on the way home from Arkansas.
That's awesome. I went. I'm a big Packers fan. Go Pack Go.
Sports.
Yeah,
sports.
Well, I say I'm a big Packers fan. I don't have any time to watch sports during the fall, but
if you had a
if
team,
they win,
Packers.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's your team.
But me and my wife bought tickets for us to go to a Packers game last year.
Yeah,
and I drove. Yeah,
at Lombardi Field.
I drove back from Green Bay to Lincoln.
Lambeau, whatever.
Lambeau.
Okay. Vince Lombardi.
That's why they call it the Lombardi Trophy, right?
Lombardi Trophy. But you guys are fine. Continue.
Anyhow, we drove from Green Bay back to Lincoln I drove back in one tank.
Wow.
One tank. I got like 650 some miles. That's I don't know the distance, but
that's
I got
crazy.
600 and some 50 miles off one tank.
That's so sick.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I was really pushing it. I'm like, I want to see what I can get out of this thing.
So, not to go too in depth on our North Dakota trip, but we had a really bad time at the North Dakota hunt, and we're just like, you know what, dude, we're going home, and I think it was me and Pep. They were like, let's just do one more hunt. Let's just do one more hunt. So we go there. We don't kill anything, right? Or did we kill two?
No, I
think we killed like one or two.
Yeah,
for the whole trip.
Yeah.
Right, and we were out there for like 4 days. Yeah. And we do this one more hunt, and we're like, well, we killed two, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we get a mile down the road. And I don't know if you called us or if we heard it or if we saw it.
You saw it. I pulled out. I got up to speed, 70, smack. Deer came out of the marsh. There was no and it had CWD.
Oh, it did have
CWD. Oh, really?
I was like, we're going to cut I was so mad. I'm like, I got a knife. I couldn't get on my truck, so I pulled out a pocket knife and I cut like my side airbags out. I was so mad. I'm like, I'm going to go cut the back straps out of this thing. Nope. It was all like mangled. That chronic
sucks.
waste
disease.
I'm like,
dude, well, and you had Athena in the truck too.
Yes. Yeah, she smoked. Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
No,
she was good though. She didn't get hurt.
No, she didn't get hurt. But I had never seen that many airbags in a vehicle because you had a high country.
Yeah,
and so it was just like the highest package at the time. And I'm just
I love that truck.
Dude, it was such a nice truck.
I wish I could have the 3-liter diesel in that truck. The body style, I love that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah.
Guys, this podcast is brought to you by Migra Ammunitions. They are the original stacked load out there. People are always asking, what kind of shot size should I use for ducks and what kind of shot size should I use for geese? And honestly, we're using a lot of 1.3 stack load and 2.4 stack load. I like to keep it simple, KISS method, and just use one shell for both birds. And honestly, if you're using the shells properly, you're landing those birds, you're getting them within shooting distance, and all of them hit like an absolute hammer.
Yeah, the 2.4 is my favorite, and I can shoot it in my 20 or my 12, and I shoot it at geese and ducks all year.
All year.
So check out Migra. Go to migraammo.com.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
Some
and then
bad luck.
OnStar's like, do not drive. I'm like, I'm gonna drive.
Yeah, you hobbled it to a freaking place.
I drove all the way home. I drove straight home.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
you did?
Airbags off. Yeah. He cut him out
Oh, they're
with a
still
knife,
hanging
bro.
out of the my steering
You just
wheel.
cut them all out?
Hell yeah.
We honestly
Holy
thought
cow.
Joel died.
I was over
It
it.
looked
Bro, weren't
so
you in
bad.
that truck that got hit from behind too?
The turkey trip.
With Wade?
Oh yeah, I wasn't in it. No, I rescued them and took them to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was bad.
Rough
I
stuff.
won't name the guy who hit them.
Love him.
in the yes, really
Love
good
him.
dude. Love you,
Great
dude.
dude.
I won't call you out, but
Yeah.
yeah. I'm taking pictures at Toadstool Geological Park in Nebraska. It looks wicked.
Yeah.
Wade calls me, hey, we need you to come give us a ride to the hospital. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, they pulled over on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
You know, speed limit 65. We were scouting turkeys. We were on a mission to get some Merriams, and they pulled over on the side of the highway, and they got assholed, and he was going 65. They got
Texas hard shot.
yeah, but Nate's truck was, had like a 8 or 10 inch lift on it. It was a big GMC, luckily.
Yeah.
But the old boy's truck looked like he was dead. The radiator was almost in the windshield,
Just like insane that everyone was okay.
and they didn't even know who they got hit by. They
Yeah.
they got smoke. Wade's forehead hit the windshield.
He
and
looks like
had-
Harry Potter now.
Yeah, he had blood coming down. Yep.
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 And Nate said he got out and saw the hood, because the hood is crinkled above the roof of
Yeah,
the truck.
yeah.
So he's like,
Oh my God.
whoever this is dead. And he goes, and old boy's passed out, like,
Unconscious.
like just kind of coming to. He's like,
I hate that shit, dude. It's so crazy how quickly life can just end, especially in a car.
literally.
Like, people don't understand. Like,
yeah.
if they would have been
You-
in a car,
Oh yeah.
oh,
yeah,
done.
they could have had whiplash so bad, broken necks.
Yeah, that would have looked like a toaster.
Yeah, that was a bad day because his truck got totaled out. We drove. Luckily, I had a buddy with me with another car. We drove all the way back to my house. I dropped my kids off at daycare. I dropped Nate and Wade off at a spot, and then end of that morning, we all had 3 turkeys. So we could have.
Yeah.
I mean, they were Easterns, but not the Merriams they wanted. But like, we could have just
Oh yeah,
gone
incredible.
10 minutes from my house and shot turkeys. But
Right.
the Merriam is,
That's what they were looking
Sought
for.
after.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
shot one stud Merriam in like north central Nebraska.
Carter, do
But
we have
anyhow.
Merriams or Easterns in Minnesota?
We don't-
Easterns?
We don't have
Okay.
Merriams.
I don't know. It's a bird.
Right.
Turkeys are boring to me, dude.
Turkeys are the smartest, dumbest animal on earth.
I just yawned.
fucking talk radio. My fucking phone just died.
It's unreal. Have you had any bad close calls in the field at all, where you were like, "Oh man, gun went off" or something
Because
crazy?
you've
like that?
filmed and
Yeah.
photographed for a lot of outfitters and all that
Oh,
stuff. So I'm
there-
sure you've seen some shit.
Yeah, there's been some discharges that should not have happened. Luckily,
Nobody close to.
nobody close to. I mean,
Firearm discharges, right?
yes.
Okay, just
Yeah,
making sure.
yeah.
Sounds good.
There hasn't been too many like dangerous situations.
Yeah, you're worse
Side
off
by
in a
side,
truck.
getting stuck. Like we've had to, work in some pretty shitty conditions. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the best hunts and some of the coolest stuff is shot in the shittiest, almost. Driving in a blizzard to try to go shoot some
Dude.
birds, maybe dangerous. I've almost died a couple times from Canada going south. Like,
I was literally going to bring up. There's some footage and some pictures that you took when you were in Canada in a blizzard, like in a straight up blizzard snowstorm. Talk
Yeah.
about that, because that blew my mind just watching it.
2 years the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll drive up with Chris Kirby at his outfit Black Sheep Waterfowl in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
2 years in
for
a
sure.
row. The next day, blizzard. I'll drive up, not this past season, but the season before, they shot 184 birds that afternoon because they thought the birds were going to leave, and motherfuckers didn't. I was mad. I get there, they cranked them. And then next morning, just sideways blizzard.
Yeah.
That's the Halloween storm that hit like the Dakotas. I mean, north, south, east, west, North Dakota got like 13 inches.
Right.
Every road home was blocked. No, that was just this last season. Anyhow, I'm getting mixed up because it was so similar. They're like, you're coming a week earlier, because I went the first week of November the first year, and then I came a week earlier this season. I was like, all right, I'm coming even a week earlier.
Yeah, I just keep going back until it works out. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I am built for cold. I am.
Me too.
I just don't care. I will sit there in the cold. I mean, I think the coldest I've hunted in is -35, -38, something like that in Nebraska. That was in Nebraska, actually.
Nebraska's cold, bro.
Really cold.
Was that in
like
Grand Island?
No, it was around Lincoln.
Nice.
Yeah, we shot 55 honkers in like 30 minutes.
In -30?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're hungry.
But they didn't fly to like 3.
Right.
But there was a...
I can see Jay already with that freaking Mad Bomber hat that he's got.
Jay was not on that hunt, but we have killed geese right in that same field, and Jay Lob's a real good dude. But, yeah, no, these geese would get up out. Yeah. They'd get up out of this creek where a wastewater treatment plant dumps, so it's like a hot tub, never freezes.
Right.
These birds would get out. There's just one field between us and that. Get up, set their wings, straight on the decoys. We'd shoot them. It was like the coolest shit.
Yeah,
you could
clockwork.
see them come out of the creek and just
cup up right away.
the blizzard, a good snow cover when they know there's, especially in a cornfield. I like a good carrion field. But
Kern.
How can
hunting
you not,
snow,
bud?
hunting blizzard, some of the worst conditions are some of the best hunting situations. And making sure to bring the camera out. Your camera gear can handle way more than you think. I promise you.
Do you do anything to like keep it,
No.
isolated at all? What do you do about batteries though? Bring a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always shoot a battery grip, and some of the I shoot a couple Canon R5s.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Oh,
any
so your
problem.
hands are keeping the battery warm.
Yeah, and I'm weird. I never wear gloves. I don't even own a nice thick pair of gloves because first off, it's hard to shoot with a camera.
Yeah.
But personally, I think my fingers almost get colder. It's like wearing too thick of socks.
For sure. Or too tight of shoes or.
Yeah, dude. I'd rather just stick my hands in summer, but I'm weird. I got good blood flow, but
I'm the same way, dude. He gives me shit because he's like, you're always cold in your hands. It's just like, no, I'll just take my hand and put it on the back of my neck or my crotch. Yep. I'll put it near my pee-pee, and I'll warm him up, and then I'm good for the next 15 minutes. But I actually, not sponsored, started using G-Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It is a life changer.
That's awesome.
Dude, you have it on low all day. And you just
can
you put it in the muff, and then when it's time to do stuff, you're good to go. The only thing that sucks is you will get that thing wet if you're hunting in water because you just forget.
Yeah.
You forget it's on you. You don't even know it's there. It's like, shit.
And then you'll be electrocuted, but,
Guys, this podcast is also sponsored by Flashback Duck Decoys. And let me tell you something about these decoys. They are so realistic, and the ducks honestly go crazy over them. We were fortunate enough to hunt over them in Arkansas, and you would think with the duck head going through the body that it wouldn't work and it would get stuck. But let me tell you, these things are so well built in America.
Yeah.
And the parts are the parts are so easily replaced and everything, so you'll never have to buy a new one. You can just replace a part here and there 30 years down the road. But when it got stuck, it would still make ripples on the water, and it looks so realistic. And honestly, the ducks loved it. So I'm so pumped to be working with these guys just because it's such a good butt feeder decoy. Like, it's just so good, guys.
Creates so much rippling in the water too, which is my favorite thing. And then they have a trip mechanism in it so that if it does get caught in the weeds, it doesn't just like keep tangling itself. It'll actually just continually trip the head till you go out and fix it.
Right,
it's unbelievable.
But even when it's doing that, it's still putting ripples on the water.
That's the thing, yeah.
Which is
They're
great.
awesome. So go check them out. Flashback Decoys. You can find them at duckcreekdecoys.com.
Hey.
But anyway,
warm though. Really warm at that point.
But if I'm always going to catch it. If you say it's going to be blowing 40 and we got snow, but we got honkers, I'm on it. Yeah.
Well, dude, when we were in Nebraska, it was like -11, and the wind chill was like bad.
Yeah.
We had that job site heater in that blind. I don't think you were there that morning, were you?
I was. I came out, but only for a little bit, rememed
Well,
yeah, because you guys went and did project
Then we
stuff.
went back and we were doing project stuff. You guys went back out.
That was the loudest blind. That
was
morning.
loud.
For whatever reason.
When you're outside of it, and I'm inside, and I'm still freezing, and you're just barehanded, I'm like, dude, this guy is a psychopath. You are
I don't know
dedicated, man.
I'll break ice and just give a good...
And you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We had this guy when I was in college, called him Steel Hands. And I don't know what it was, but the guy legit just had no feeling in his hands. We went to the Boundary Waters on this canoe trip, and we forgot to bring all types of utensils to do any type of cooking. So the entire time, bro, this guy legitimately was just
using fingers to
with
flip.
his hands, bro. And he would like move pans. We had like a cast iron pan on open coal cooking, and we'd be like, "Oh shoot, we don't know how are we gonna move that?" And he'd be like,
"Yep, I flip bacon with my finger."
Bacon with the grease jumping.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
"That's unreal." Yeah,
I don't know.
Steel hands, bro.
I don't know.
You're the new steel
Call him
hands.
Steel Hands Young.
Fucking Norse blood.
It's unreal. What about a trip you're excited about this year? You asked us. I know you said you're going to Canada. So
I was supposed to be, the trip I was looking forward to, I was supposed to be going to Reindeer Lake in a few days from now to film.
Where's that?
On a fishing lodge in Saskatchewan.
Nice.
With Keaton Rowe.
Nice.
Shout out Keaton.
Yeah, Keaton's
That's my
great, dude.
We're going to go up there and shoot just on a fishing lodge. That's pretty epic. And I ended up having to find somebody else to take my place because my dad was going to come visit anyhow. He's not coming now. Shout out, love you, Dad. But so that was like one of my favorite trips I was going to go on. But I ended up shouting out to Justin Hodge. You know Jay Hodge? He does a lot of offshore fishing stuff. Shoots this.
I've seen your videos of it.
Oh,
it's very badass.
I hired him to come shoot the micro shoot with me for all the upland stuff, the Ultimate
Nice.
Dove and Ultimate Field.
yeah.
In South Carolina. So anyhow, I had him take my place for that. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to Canada.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back up with Ben Commodore.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Cloud9.
Yeah, Cloud9.
He's
Shout out
such a good
Ben. He is
great
the,
dude.
one of the most genuine people.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be up there actually for my birthday this year. I get there September 25th. My birthday's the 26th.
Nice.
Shoot
Nice.
there for him and another outfit for like 8 days, and I'm looking forward to that because
Yeah.
Northern Alberta, first time I ever went was last year with Trevor and the Pacific guys, and
Oh, yeah.
that was a blast.
Well, and if you're going with Ben, then you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, and that's a great area up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't been to. Well, our first time going to Canada was last year when we were in Saskatchewan. But everyone's telling me we need to go to Alberta,
Yes.
and now
Can't-
they just made Manitoba, which is right north of us, lottery.
Oh yeah, huh? Yeah. There's
There's
some
like
big
over the
changes.
counter weird stuff that you can do, but it's a little too complicated for me to try to
I
figure it
don't-
out.
I don't like it. It's
I hope it doesn't all
I
turn.
think that's
into
gonna
that.
all turn into like outfitter allotments.
well, yeah, because then it's only money. You can only hunt if you got money, and
Yeah.
like second time I hunted Canada, it was just me and my buddy Jake Wissing. We freelanced it, dude. Freelancing Canada. It was just me and him.
You were
both of
there
our
for like
dogs.
a couple weeks, weren't you?
It was a full week. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did like 8 days.
Because you had some ridiculous content come out of that.
I knocked on one door and we hunted the same guy's property or property he farms for the whole time. Yeah, so
That's
Canada is
ridiculous.
special. I can't wait to get back to Canada. There's obviously different places that they're kind of up in the air. I don't like to
Right.
give out too
How about
much.
this?
of-
Where do you want to go?
I mean, New Zealand with Jeff Irvine is like on my like,
And he's
that's been something
hilarious.
Yes. Yes,
I would
I need to get
love
out
to-
there with you, dude. We've talked back and forth through social media for so long, like shooting a black swan. Or
Dude, we should plan a big trip.
I
Just
am
get a bunch of boys to go.
because I canceled Africa 3 times. I had to because COVID was a couple times. My son was supposed to be due a week before, and then New Zealand I canceled because my son
Yeah.
was due 2 weeks before the trip. Me and Jake were gonna go.
Yeah.
And then COVID canceled an Africa trip I was supposed to do a couple times.
Wow.
And then supposed to go to Africa again. And then my daughter was due like 2 weeks before the trip. I said,
You gotta time these things out better, bud.
2 kids.
It's impossible.
I got my son Leonidas. I got the younger daughter Amelia.
Done.
I think 2 is going to be.
Yeah, that's the number.
Yeah.
Or you think you're done?
Yeah. For now at least.
We're pushing for 3 to 4.
Heck yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. 1 to 2 was tough.
Yes.
1 to 2 was tough.
I'm sure you'll be saying the same thing
It's
when
hard-
it's 3 and then the same thing when it's 4.
Well, they say by the time you have 3, you're like the youngest your kid could be is like 3 and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 9 times 3, 27 months. You know, well, I guess well, technically you could get pregnant right away, but most of them are over the age of 3. And
Yeah.
by that time, they're helping with the younger one, and they're actually friends. They're not just beating up on each other all the time because they literally don't know what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. It feels incredible to have one of each now.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
It's fun. The only hard thing is you don't get the one-on-one time with the second one as much,
tough.
and so they almost grow faster. You know, like
Well, they're
then
trying to
you-
keep up.
And then you're like, then you look at your older one, you're like, where did it go? Where did it go? I want you to go back to when you're in
Yeah.
this cute little stage. But
Yeah.
Well, and
No,
I don't know
love
if you
it.
remember, we were having such a problem with Aziza. She was so colicky for the first 3 weeks, 2 months, and I was talking to Joel. He's like, dude, I'm going to send you some shit. And I was like, please don't. And then he sent me a sound machine, and like you sent me a bunch of stuff,
I
dude.
think I sent you one of the sleep sacks,
Yep.
like a sound machine.
Yep.
Those two
And they helped,
things.
dude.
Yeah.
They helped, and then she changed her diet, got off of dairy and eggs, and I was just like,
My
Joel
wife-
is the nicest fucking guy I've
Oh, of
ever
course.
met. You know?
Yeah.
So I cannot thank you enough for that, and it helped so much. And then when we got into number 2, just instantly implemented those things, and he's just
Yes.
Yeah.
sleeping like a rock.
Then you kind of, yeah. The first one is always a learning, you know.
What the fuck?
Their first is always your first.
Totally.
So,
Totally,
I
man.
love it, though.
No, I think you're just amazing human beings. So
Well,
Same.
Joel,
I think
thank
the same
you.
about you guys.
we literally can't thank you enough for coming on, man. We appreciate it. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having me.
breaking in your podcast career.
Yes.
With the boys at Midwest
Thanks
Flyways.
for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, man.
I actually want to have a connection with people when I do these kind of things. Not
I
over
can't
the
do them
phone.
over the phone, dude.
No, I'm not. I
Yeah.
refuse.
I won't. I'd rather wait 3 years to do a podcast with you
Right.
than try to horse one over the phone.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, man. And it's
good.
always better when you feel like you have a good relationship with people because you can just kind of rap. And the whole point of it is that it feels natural,
Exactly.
you know? So,
We've shot birds together. We've been around a few places. You guys
Yeah.
are good people. Love you guys.
Let's do it
Love you
again
too, bud.
soon, huh?
Yeah.
Like
Thanks, man.
the bird part. We
Yeah.
can wait a little while for the podcast.
make it
I
happen.
just care more about the bird part.
let's go
Let's
hunt.
kill some stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
man.
Hey, one more thing, Joel.